My friend and I died in a car crash. I think I might have shared this already, but I need to go more into detail with what happened. About 6 to 8 years ago, my friend Giovanni and I left my house to go get some late night McDonald's, just as young fellas do at 2 a.m. after a night of partying, and all. We got into his white Mustang, left the neighborhood, and began driving on one of the main roads towards McDonald's, which was about 2 miles away. As we cross an intersection just about half a mile away from McDonald's, we get slammed by another car and thrown, and we proceed to roll. All I remember from the impact is that the car was speeding very fast, the impact was brutal, glass shards flew everywhere, and the sound of plastic and metal scraping the asphalt. We died upon impact. We were gone, then it all just went black. I saw that the car was annihilated. Looking at it from above, the scene was distressing. Then just as soon as the scene played out of our deaths, it abruptly ended and we automatically went back, and we were both standing at the front door about to leave to McDonald's. I look over at Gio, and Gio is tearing up and shaking with his hand on the doorknob. I say, "Bro, what the F was that? If we leave and go right now, we're going to die in a car crash." All he replied with was something along the lines of, "I know." Gio was shaking terribly, and I felt sick to my stomach. We had both just lived out our deaths. We both stepped away from the door and walked back into my family room and sat on the couch and didn't say a word to each other and just stared off into the distance. I had lived my own death, and so did he. We both knew it, and we both had no idea how to explain it. The best way I can explain it is it felt like a dream, where it's one of those almost too real of a dreams. We assuredly left the house and almost made it to McDonald's, but we got hit at an intersection, then flashed back almost immediately to my house. Amusement park workers, what is the strangest thing you found while cleaning after the park has closed? I worked security at a Six Flags park back in my college days. Although the park wasn't closed at the time this story takes place, I felt it deserves to be told due to the strangest thing I found factor is very high with this one. I was working in the parking lot one day and I was driving along by the fence next to one of the rides. Out of the corner of my eye I see an object fly through the air towards a group of vehicles, and so I stop and start checking by the cars. Looking around, I see what appears to be a severed leg sticking out from one of the cars. I start to freak out, thinking something horrible has just happened, and so I get down and have a closer look, and I'm relieved to see that it's a very realistic prosthetic leg. Brain starts to work up reasons why a leg would fly across the air, and about the same time radio dispatch calls another officer to the ride I was by about a guest in need of assistance with a lost item. Something clicked in my head and how the dispatcher said something about the call, so I called the other officer that I was nearby and was pretty sure I had found the missing item in question, and I'll take the call, get the leg, and make my way into the ride. And when I get to the unloading area, the ride's employee is laughing and just pointing towards a guest. Walk around the corner and see a guy with a one leg hopping around talking with another employee. He sees me holding the leg, and you can tell he is instantly relieved and starts hopping my way. Give him the leg and he promptly puts it back on and starts telling me how at one part of the ride it makes a sharp turn, and being that it was a roller coaster that allowed your feet to hang in the air, the sharp turn had sent his leg flying free into the air. I listened to his story and was collecting information from him, and then he asked why I needed to get his name and address. I explained that it was standard policy if you had a guest interaction in case of any litigation later. I said you might decide to sue us later, but we would need the prosthetic as evidence, and that he probably wouldn't have a leg to stand on in court. I laughed. He looked at me like I was stupid.